Let's stick generic then. What's your favorite Python feature?
Like, wait, what?
The following is a discussion that I had on my recent live stream with a Python software engineer intern at Amazon. He entered there in his third year and he's now looking to break into big tech in his fourth year. He stumbled upon a lot of difficulty trying to break into big tech, and I provide him with advice and guidance. Hope you enjoy. Go
So I
ahead.
was gonna ask, is there a reason why you don't drink or smoke?
Um, Drinking, I don't like feeling not in control, and smoking, it's not good for you.
Okay, okay.
My
And
grandfather died from lung cancer, and I don't want to be in that situation.
okay, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm just chilling. I'm a college student, uh, computer science, trying to do big tech, I guess.
Okay. What year are you
Nothing
in?
really. I'm in my fourth year.
Okay, how's it going?
It's going all right. I was a SWE intern at Amazon last year. This year, low-key, the cycle's been fucked. I failed a bunch of technicals. I still have some more coming up though, but
What
I'm
lang
also in, huh?
what language do you code in?
Python.
Okay.
I'm also a like incoming master student as well. So that's about it.
Okay. What's your level of proficiency in Python, and why do you think you didn't do well on the technical stuff?
I think it's okay. So I started coding in college, and mainly in college, we do like the basics object-oriented programming stuff. It's all Java, and then we go on to Python and like the higher level courses. And then in order to leak code, I started learning Python to leak code pretty much because it was easier to me to do that than in Java.
Okay.
So, and then obviously like in classworks, like we end up doing Python too. But in terms of proficiency, probably like a year or two, I guess.
Okay. And so on a scale
Yeah.
from 1 to 10, where 10 is for your current age and skill set, God, and then 5 is average, and then 1 is kind of like trash, what would you rank yourself?
Uh, probably like, hmm, probably like six, but I guess it's like everyone's gonna say they're above average.
Sure.
But the reason I was gonna say that is because I was able to get an internship at
Okay.
Big Tech.
Okay. What version of Python are you using?
Whatever like the new one is, I guess. I don't really. Oh, 3, Python 3, I think is the.
Which version of 3?
I have no idea.
How do you check? Do you know how to check?
Wait, I'm just pulling up.
Well, what's so
uh,
funny?
well, no, because I think on LeetCode it just says Python 3. I don't think it says like
Yeah,
anything
but I'm
specific.
assuming you code outside lead code too, no?
Oh yeah, yeah, but like that's not really. They usually just give me like a version for
Hmm.
classes. Yeah, you don't really have to select it.
Hmm. How do you isolate the packages you use in Python?
I'll be honest, I have no idea.
So when you have, for example, you want to start a new project and you don't want it to conflict with other potential packages you've installed on the same host, how do you isolate that that project's packages? I'm only asking you this because this is going to be important for an interview.
Oh, wait, could you say that again?
Yeah, how do you isolate the packages for a Python project such that they don't conflict with other packages that are installed in other projects? It's
Would
okay
you
if you
just
don't
create
know.
a new environment for each project?
What does that mean, creating a new environment?
It's like is it like pip install that sort of stuff?
Pip install what? Like, what do you install?
Like you install the packages. Yo, wait,
Um,
I'm also. Wait, don't be too rough on me. Don't
I'm
be
just
too
asking. No,
rough.
I'm not being rough. I'm not being.
Okay.
I'm not laughing. I'm not like pointing fingers
Okay.
and
Okay.
laughing or
Okay.
whatever. This is a. I'd rather you get this wrong with me than in an interview. Do you agree?
Wait, but are these like these? I've never been asked these questions on interviews though.
But this is like basic stuff you'll need for actual. Like I can ask you a lead code question now, but you're not going to be doing lead code on the job. The first thing you're going to be doing on the
Yeah.
job is you're going to be creating a folder, opening up whatever IDE,
Oh
creating
yeah.
a
Yeah.
Python
Yeah.
file, and doing what to isolate the packages.
Wait, did you just? Do you mean creating like a local, creating in your local space so you don't fuck with like the actual files?
What do you mean by creating your local space?
Like create have a local copy?
Well, you're going to need to have a copy of the file you're working on. Otherwise, how can you work on it?
Yeah.
But you need there. But you know how there's like you can have multiple different Python projects, right? And each project has it's made up of its own .py files and maybe some other files.
Oh.
And you
Oh
might
wait.
even have separate repositories that are all Python repositories. And the Python repositories are on the same computer in different folders, but they all have different versions required for a given package. So how are those Python versions isolated to prevent conflict between repositories on the same system?
Actually, yeah, I actually don't know.
Okay. It's called virtual environments, VMs. Have you heard about that before?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But wait, I forgot what I used Vims for.
What IDE do you use with Python?
VS Code.
VS Code. Okay, that's classic. What is Python? Can Python be multi-threaded?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. What year are you in?
I'm in my 4th year.
Okay. Have you taken anything regarding concurrency in school?
No,
Have you taken anything regarding operating systems?
no.
Which classes have you taken?
Uh, I mean, okay. The, I mean, there's like a bunch. I've taken like data structures, algorithms, automata, like object-oriented programming.
Okay.
What was the? There's not really like none of the classes were very in depth in anything. It was very just pretty generic.
Okay. Let's stick generic then. What's your favorite Python feature?
Like, wait, what?
What's your favorite Python language feature?
I mean, I like that it's pretty. I feel like it's relatively simple to start out with and type, I guess.
What does that mean?
Honestly,
It's-
like it's easier to create variables, for example, compared to Java.
but I mean, I can create a variables real easy in C++. I do int x equals 1. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, yeah.
So I ask you this because
It's
like,
even easier in Python.
well, with Python, you just don't use the type. I wouldn't say that's a language feature. There's a lot of dynamically typed programming languages.
Wait, what are some examples?
Of other dynamically typed programming languages.
No, not like features.
Something that's unique to Python, for example, is that like indentation is it's like part of the language. So effectively, that's like enforces a kind of global coding standard in one dimension of the code. Another thing is like list comprehensions is kind of unique to Python. Packages are importing is very simple in Python, right? So whereas in C++, for example, importing third-party packages is a bit of a nightmare. That's not like Python specific because like C# it's easy with NuGet and stuff, but at least that's a better answer than just not knowing. There's a saying that in Python, everything is a what? Everything in Python is a what?
What?
When you type something in Python, there's different types, right? So there's like a list, for example, and a dictionary. You familiar with those data structures?
Yeah.
Now, all of these derive from or come from what? Have you heard of that saying that everything in Python is a? It starts with an O.
I have never heard this before.
Okay, everything in Python is an object.
Wait, are these like, is everything you're asking me like, is just everyone should know this? Am I just,
I think this is stuff you should know. Like, if I was to interview you, before I'd even get to the higher level concepts, I'd want to know what your Python fundamentals are. So I would be asking you like these sorts of simple questions. Let's take it even simpler. How do I print something to the screen in Python?
isn't that just like print?
Okay.
And then you put, huh?
And then what is string interpolation, and how do you do string interpolation in Python?
You can just have quotations or like str parentheses, I guess.
Okay, now how do you do that's the print, but how do you do in string interpolation?
What, wait, like string manipulation?
Not string manipulation, string interpolation. So let's say I wanted to print, let's say I have a variable x, and x can change at runtime. X can either be 50 or 41 or 32 or whatever. Okay? And I want to write a program that takes in a random number and prints it to the screen. How would you do that?
Can't you just print x?
You can print x, right? But how would I do that? Like if you were to write the code, how would you do that? Like it's okay, x equals rand or random number. I think you import random and random dot next integer, or what, I don't know what the API is, but x equals random dot next number. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you do make a print statement, and how do you include that number in the string?
Oh, is that like the it was like, so it's like print and then you do F quotation mark and then it's like a dollar sign or like the curly brace, something like that to import the variable, right?
To import the variable?
Or no, to not import, to just like put it in there.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
called
at the end you,
right. That's called string interpolation.
I've never, okay, dang.
Yeah. So like, see, putting terms to actual theory is going to be important too, because if you're on, if essentially a programming language should be something that's uniform between both you and the interviewer. So if I say like, can you give me an example of string interpolation, but you don't know what string interpolation is, it doesn't matter that you've had familiarity with it in the past. You're not going to be speaking the same frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. What's your least favorite part about Python?
I honestly don't think I know enough to know I don't know.
So
I
see,
don't like.
at this point, I'm not even really testing CS.
Oh wait,
What?
yeah, I guess I wouldn't like or spacing is something that's pretty important in Python. I mean, I don't really. These are all very. It's just like thinking about computer science, you know?
Yeah. So I'm not even asking like.
Yeah.
I'm not even asking data structures or whatever. I'm going to the fundamentals, like what do you know about Python, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't answer those questions, it's going to be hard for you on a technical. So let me ask you this: have you taken any networking classes?
No.
Remind me which classes you've taken. I don't know. You mentioned object-oriented programming.
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
that in C++ and C? Yeah, what classes have you taken?
Yeah, first is like object-oriented programming, and then data structures, and then the next one would be probably automata, or not automata.
So
design
you've taken
analysis
data
of
structures,
algorithms.
right?
Yeah,
In which language did they teach that?
they teach that in Java,
And
but I
okay,
pretty much, huh?
okay. And did you do anything in C or C++?
We had like a course on that, but that was very like the the C part of it was like the last 2 weeks, so it didn't even like matter pretty much.
If I asked you what is a vector, would you know?
No,
Okay. I'm not gonna ask you a question about that if you don't know. Fair. And do you know what TCP is?
no.
Okay. That alone can. I had a guy that commented, Coding Jesus is asking the same basic questions all the time. I ask the same basic questions because this is so important, because if you say no in an interview, you're not going to get another round.
Yeah.
So it's really good that you're asking me these, that you're answering honestly here, because you're going to need to know that. Okay, you should take a class in that. Do you know, you said you've done data structures and algorithms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of the problem fizzbuzz?
Yeah. What? There's. Damn.
If I was to ask you to, if I was to tell you this, here's a number.
Mm-hmm.
Return fizz if it's divisible by 5. Return buzz if it's divisible by 3. Return fizz buzz if it's divisible by 5 and 3. Do you know how you'd program that?
Yeah. So I'd pretty much have a empty string, and then first thing you would do is, if the number mod 5 is equal to 0, then you append fizz, and then you do another if statement for buzz, or for mod 3, and then you append buzz.
Okay. And how would you declare that string in Python?
It would just be equals empty quotation mark, like just like 2 pairs of quotations.
Okay. That's actually a unique solution. I didn't expect you to answer that way.
Wait, what's like the expected?
Sorry, did you say if and else, or just if and if?
2 ifs.
Okay.
Because if and else wouldn't work.
Right. Okay. That's a unique solution. I'll give you that. It works, but it's an interesting way of thinking about that. Okay. Is Python slow? And if it's slow, why is it slow?
I thought I thought it was slow because it's not a low level of language. It's like built off of.
Okay. What is the precision of int? I'm gonna take it a little step further because I think it's a safe space here, so I think it's okay to push you a little. What how large is an integer in Python?
Ooh, wait, is that like in 30? Is that like 32-bit?
Yeah, so that's what I'm referring to. So there's 32-bit integers,
Okay.
8-bit integers. How large is an integer in Python?
Oh yeah, wait, yeah. You can use infinity, right?
I
I don't know. I don't like. Are we talking about like the largest number you can use in Python?
Not necessarily asking what the largest is. I'm asking you, like, how large can they be? Because when you say something like 64-bit, that means there's a limit.
Yeah.
Depending on the signed and unsignedness of the actual number, the range can change. Right? So I think it's, 4 billion for a 32-bit integer? If it's unsigned. So how large in terms of bits are Python integers?
If I had to guess, it would be like 1,020, 24 or something, but I don't really know.
That's the largest integer you can declare in Python?
Oh wait, largest integer would be like you can do whatever, right?
Are you reading chat?
No.
Okay. Okay, you can. It could be. You're saying it could be as big as you want it to be.
I genuinely don't know.
Okay.
The largest number. Couldn't you just type up any number?
Yeah, I think they're. I think the right. I'm not a Python dev, but I think the right term is like their arbitrary precision. So effectively, like they can be as big as you want them to be.
Okay.
Yeah. And you interned at Amazon before?
Yeah.
As a in what capacity?
What does that mean?
So like, what did
What
you
year?
do? Not what year. What did you do?
I was a SWE.
Okay. And like, what did you do in general? Like, what were you working on?
Yes, I was working on uh pretty much my team had this like ML model. It was called substitutable product groups.
An ML model? Is that what you said? Sorry, they had an
Yeah,
ML.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So pretty much what the model did was they pretty
Sorry.
much
First of all, is it? Are you under NDA? Are you allowed to? Are you allowed to say this?
I mean probably it's on my resume.
Okay, fine. I just don't want to get in trouble. Like nobody said this is top secret. Don't talk about this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I wasn't gonna go too in depth.
Yeah, that's
in
fine.
The
Okay.
actual, yeah. But so the pretty much the model detects if two products are similar. So this is useful in like the warehouse, for example, in like same day delivery, because if you're trying to put if there's limited inventory space, you don't want to have multiple products take up uh, the inventory space, especially if they do similar things. So if there's two garlic peelers, you would only want one. So the ML model would detect that.
Okay.
And so what I had to do was pretty much create just evaluate the model. So they gave me like 4 different data sets, and they were pretty much like derive certain metrics,
Okay.
and pretty much just create an ETL pipeline. So first I had to what was it? Yeah, I had to use like a bunch of AWS tools like AWS Glue,
Okay.
and I had to like transform, like create schemas, create tables, transform the data sets into what was needed, and then use like Athena.
Let me ask you this.
Shit.
What that makes sense. What sort of data did you work with? JSON, XML, CSV?
I believe it was CSV. It was like, have you heard of Andes? I don't know if that's like a.
Andes?
It was called like Andes data sets.
I have not heard of that. Sorry, I might be an industry
Okay.
Amazon term that I'm just not familiar with.
Nah, yeah, it's just yeah.
What
But
is
no,
what does CSV stand for? Do you know?
no.
Okay. How does a CSV file look? Because you said you worked with the CSV, right?
I'm pretty sure it was Andes. I thought maybe like CSV and Andes aren't the same.
Okay. What does an Andes file look like? I don't know. Teach me.
I mean, it was just like a table. So pretty much you were given a bunch of features, and then each feature had it just had data. And so, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And okay. So have you ever worked with JSON data?
I don't think so.
Do you know what JSON is?
I thought it was just a way to store data.
Yeah, I mean that's implicit in the question I asked. But
Oh
like,
yeah.
how does it look?
Is it just like a bunch of uh is it just like a bunch of hash maps within each other? Or like a hash map and then it has like a arrays? That type of
When you say hash map, I'm just trying. It's hard for me to visualize what exactly you mean. But you don't have to type it out or whatever. But like, do they have keys and values? What do you mean, like hash map?
Yeah, it would be like keys values, and then the values would be more like it would just keep going.
Okay. What if somebody were to ask, I actually got this interview question as one of my first junior dev questions, so I think it might be fair to ask you this because you're also going to be a junior dev. What's the difference between give me one benefit and one disadvantage of using a CSV? Actually, because you
I'm gonna search up what a CSV looks like.
Okay. Actually, let's actually not even do that. You said you were working with Andy, right?
It was called Andy's data, so let me search it up.
Okay, fine. It's a comma separated value file. What's the extension of an Andy file? What does it end in?
Honestly, don't remember. It was probably like,
Was Andy the name of your internal database, or was it the name of a file set? Like a proprietary file format?
I'm pretty sure it was like Amazon specific.
Okay. So it's an Amazon specific file set. So let's something that I ask juniors a lot in interviews is if there's a piece of code that they write and they're unfamiliar with it, I ask them to like debug it, for example, because I want to see how their debugging skills are live. So you effectively just learned what a CSV file is. I'm assuming you were spending time reading that right now.
I was trying to find the Andes, but I can.
Okay, yeah. Comma separated value file. Can you just spend like 30 seconds, just Google, see what that is, and let me know if you kind of get it, and then we'll talk about it a little.
Wait, say that again? Comma separated
value
file?
Yeah, comma CSV.
Oh, okay, that's what it stands for. Sure, I mean,
Does it look familiar?
looks simple enough.
Yeah. So if I was to ask you, okay, so I guess describe how it looks. So there's a what? What's the first line in a CSV file?
Is it the header?
Yes.
So it has a bunch of features?
Yes. So, and then what is everything other than the header?
Just data points.
Exactly. And what are they separated by?
Commas.
Okay, perfect. Simple enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe can you tell me what one advantage of this file format might be and one disadvantage?
Is a advantage it's easy to parse.
Okay, that's good. Sure.
Disadvantage, it would be hard to keep like complicated data, I guess.
That's
like
actually
it's easy.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. It can't support complicated data. So see, these are the type of questions I like to ask in an interview. Like if you're unfamiliar with something, I want to see how quickly you can learn it, and then how quickly you can kind of gain a fundamental understanding of like what its use cases are. Because effectively, like when you join a job, you're going to join an environment where you might not be familiar with the tech stack that's there, but at the same time, you need to familiarize yourself quickly, right? So how are you able to like read something, learn it, and then figure out what's going on? And I think you did a good job there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have any more questions for me?
No, I mean I didn't have any questions. I just joined. I feel like I cooked this 30 minutes, but it was chill.
It's okay. Do you feel like this call was rude or toxic or confrontational at all?
Not really. I think it was more so I just like didn't know what I was expecting.
Okay.
So I just like joined the call and then I'm like, damn, bro, like I gotta like get my shit together.
Okay, so you think it's like a good wake-up call in a sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
but at the same time, like a lot of these interviews I feel like are just straight leak code. Like they don't even talk about like it's pretty much like you do your entry, and then
Right. But
you just like
at the same time, you were struggling a bit with the fizzbuzz, right? So that's why I also asked you about that. Now,
wait, chill. I wasn't struggling with fizzbuzz.
I felt like you were a little slower than you could have been.
Bro, that was in like 5 seconds. That was like 2 seconds.
Okay, fine. What I'm getting at though is like, yeah, sure, the online assessment might get you through the first round, but in the second round, when they ask you and they start going into your resume and they start at like, what's an Andy file, right? Or what is Andy? You spent in theory, you worked on it, so the answer should be lightning quick.
Yeah.
You know, but like you had to spend some time thinking about it. Right? So also how you explain your previous resume experience. That's a big red flag if you need to spend a lot of time thinking about what you did. I mean, you did it after all yourself, hopefully. So that's something you need to consider. You're also like going to be asked about stuff like computer architect. I think, did you say you do want to break into quant or you don't?
I don't.
Okay. I think in a big tech interview, like they should probably, I don't know if maybe if people in chat can correct me. I've never interviewed for big tech, but I think this is like critical, the sorts of critical questions like networking, important to know what TCP is. I met people that come from FANG that are totally cracked, that know all this stuff like it's the back of their hand, that know like 10 times more than me. So I think if you want to do a really good job in FANG, these are also important concepts to know.